Hello and welcome to a new video. It's time for another sketchbook tour. I feel like I just breezed through this sketchbook. Like, I can't believe how quickly I finished this one. You know? This is a Sea White of Brighton sketchbook. I covered it with a bunch of stuff. If you want to see a little bit of that and hear me talking about that, I have a video where I started this sketchbook. I will have that linked in the description below. So there are a bunch of stickers on the cover. So I will be linking the artists for them now. This one I got as part of a Sanrio sticker pack, and this one is a drawing of Bob from Animal Crossing that I made. Then we have the name of the book on the side, and then on the back we just have two more Sanrio stickers. This is another one of mine. This is of my cowboy character Clay, and this is a sticker from Flesh PNG. Let's get into this book. So it starts off a little funny because this was initially going to be a junk journal, because I kind of got into that at one point. But after a certain point it stops being that, and I decided to use it as a sketchbook because I really like how it looked and I didn't want to waste it. So yeah, it's a lot more like collagey, mismatched, messy to begin with, because there's like a load of, junk in there. So this is the date that I started the junk journal aspect of it, and then in November of 2025 is when I properly started using it as a sketchbook, and it was the 14th of March in 2026 that I finished it. So yeah, where do I start? I've just put like a bunch of stickers. This was from my starting a new sketchbook video. This is another Animal Crossing character, Tabby, and this is from an artist's business card that I wanted to stick in. This is my drawing of Gypsy Danger, and this is on some Japanese snack packaging that I got from a Tokyo Treat box, because the packaging for those things were always so cool. It's really weird describing my messy journal pages, because they're a mess. So this is a drawing of Kara that I stuck over these tickets that were train tickets from when I was in school and we went on a trip to Paris. So these are really, really old, but I felt like sticking them in because there's a lot of junk from when I was younger that I wanted to include. Then we've just got some packaging from Pokemon, Five Nights at Freddy's, and then Miles from Spider-Man. This page is more packaging from some One Piece stickers and cards that I got from this artist. I never know how to say their name. Is it Mimskosara? A couple years ago, they did a Kickstarter for a One Piece art book, and it came with a bunch of stuff, and I loved it so much because I'm a big fan of One Piece, so I was I kind of had to do it. This is from Wickham Festival when I went back in 2015. I don't do much nowadays, so I don't really have many things like that I do now, because I don't do anything. Then a box from Magic the Gathering, because me and my brother, we got our first set a year or two ago. We got the Innistrad ones. I got the Crimson Vow ones and he got the Midnight Hunt ones, and I love them so much. They are gorgeous, and I really liked the artwork for the box, and I didn't know what to do with it, and so then when I started doing this, I was like, yeah, that's perfect, I'll just put it in there. And there's a little cinema roll, because the vibes, I don't know. This page was a receipt ticket thingy for Comic-Con many years ago, actually. I think I covered the date when I did this video, so I don't remember. But I covered it up with Kara to make it more interesting, and then there's just some anime stuff from things that I got while I was there. And then a bag of turtle chips, because I tried them, or I bought them when I was in one of my Asian supermarkets after I watched Naomi John talking about how much she loved them, so I wanted to try them. And yeah, they were delicious. I didn't like them that much at first, but they grew on me. So I thought I'd put the packaging in here, and it keeps coming up because I don't know how to make this type of plastic stick to paper. It just doesn't want to. Pikachu, it's just a bag that I had. This is a wrapper from a like marshmallow chocolate treat, and this is a ticket from when I went to see Panic at the Disco in 2016 that I again didn't know what to do with, so I thought I'd stick it in here. And now we have transitioned into the sketchbook. So it really didn't last that long, the scrapbooking, junk journaling. It's about like 1/6 of this book. And I was kind of enjoying it because it's fun to like cut and glue and stick stuff in, but ultimately I was like, I'm not actually like making any pages that I like with this stuff, so it kind of almost feels like a waste. Like I could potentially make something better with it later, especially since I really like how using my stuff to make like the covers of this book and stuff makes me want to save stuff, save rubbish that I like for potentially future book covers. So, but yes, so we are onto the video. We are onto the sketchbook now. So this was like planning for the little artworks that I put around at the beginning. This was my starting a new sketchbook video, and this was artwork I did for it as well. This is my character from Elden Ring because I was playing that again. I talk a lot about that character in that video, so if you are curious, you can go check that out. But this was technically like the first stuff that I did in this book, because it took ages for me to actually get to doing the starting a sketchbook video. And this was when I was watching Daredevil season 3. I love that season so much. That was so good. I really want to go back and watch it again. I loved Point Dexter so much. I really need to finish Daredevil Born Again. I think I watched 2 episodes. I was loving it, but then I got distracted, and I can't remember what I got distracted by. So I kind of stopped. But this is a painting of, this is Point Dexter. If you've seen that season, it will make sense. But I just really wanted to paint it because, I don't know, he looked really good. So I felt like doing that. And here's a little sketch of him as well. I'd been watching a Dispatch playthrough, and I felt like making something for Prism because she was my favourite character from that. So this is the only Dispatch art I do because it was a fun game, but I kind of, I don't know, there were a lot of things about it that I just didn't really care for. So, and now that I've already seen it, like, I don't really, the replayability isn't really there for me, and I didn't even play it, so I'm just watching it, so it's kind of even worse. The other problem with this sketchbook is the pages just don't, so it's always kind of, I'm gonna have to hold it down the whole video. This was where I was like, I want to be looser with this sketchbook, so I was doing like rough sketches of Daredevil stuff. So here I drew Matt Murdock Daredevil and Poindexter Daredevil. I wanted to draw something, but I didn't know what to draw. This is all drawn with like pen. These are screenshots of Matt Murdock, but I was trying to draw him in like the comic book style because it looks really cool. And then these two are done with the Ohuhu fine liners that they sent me in like a gift box ages ago. Let me show you. Yeah, so these are their fine liners. They're like double-ended, where one end is like a proper actual like fine liner, and then the other end is, I think, yeah, it's called a calligraphy brush. And this is the end that I really like to sketch with. I don't ever actually use the fine liner end. I just enjoyed using them so much. This was the first time I tried using them for sketching, and I just really like how they look. They're very scratchy and they layer up to get darker, which is something I really like, so then I can sketch lightly and then just make them darker. And I kind of got really into drawing with them like this. So here I am using, I think it is actually this pen, which is a like orangey yellow. I don't know why, but I got into Witcher again. I decided to go back and draw my Witcher characters that I haven't drawn in a very long time, and just like give them an update and you know, also draw them in my current style and see what was up. I really liked the asymmetry of it. She has like a padded arm because she kind of uses it as like to push people around or push monsters around. Then she uses her right hand with her hatchet and her sword to, you know, go for the attack. So I did an example here of her fighting a fork tail. It wasn't until after I drew it that I was like, she's gonna lose that arm. So this is a bad example, but I guess if it's like lose the arm or die, it's alright. She's got scars all like over her, half of her body from, I think I said it was from like basilisk venom, because, you know, naturally Witcher characters have to have scars. It's just, you know, like peak character design. And then on this side we have, I changed his name a lot, Ike. His name has changed to Ike. He is like this big guy, and I was just like messing around. Do I want him to have like a full beard, or do I want to stick with his typical stubble? I think this is his new armor. I kind of like the balance. He's got like a heavy top, she's got a heavy bottom, but then they both wear cloaks, which kind of evens it out when they're wearing the cloaks. And I just really loved drawing them. They were really fun to draw. And then again, there was the added challenge of drawing this all in pen, meant that I kind of had to embrace any mistake that I made. Because this is such cheap paper, I wasn't worried about everything having to be perfect. I like it. Here, I'm doing more sketches with the pens. So I was still playing Elden Ring at this point, and my brother is also a big fan of the FromSoft games, and we were talking about Bloodborne and how cool it would be if there was like a Venice type setting with like lots and lots of water and flooded cities and stuff. I had some like imagery in my head based on this that I just wanted to get down. So this was me kind of like coming up with what I would like to see like a Bloodborne Venice game looking like. So I did like some city skylines. This is, I think, actually from a reference of Venice, but you know. And then this like big creature, because I really love the mix of like organic monster with like masks and, you know, like brickware, you know, like statues, you know. So I wanted this like big thing. It's like basically 4 arms instead of any legs, and you got your tiny little hunter down here, because I really like the whole scale of it. And then on this side I was just doing some more stuff. So like there are those really big hand statues that come out of the water in Venice, and I thought that would be really cool to do more of that and push more of that. So then like here it's like this wonky building cityscape that is being held up by a ton of hands, because I really want it to give the like swarm ant vibe with the hands. Like I want them to be like petrified stone, but I want it to be sinister, where it's like, what are the hands actually doing? Like, what was their goal? And then here I'm just messing around with like some character designs. Like this was an idea for like what a player character might look like, and then this was like an NPC design, which I go into more here. So this was like the NPC. I was like, they would be like a recurring NPC. I don't think I'd want them to be like the firekeeper or the doll. I think I'd want them to, I don't know if I want them to feel safe. But I ended up really liking their design. And they all have like masks, so their expressions don't change, because I think that's creepier, where you can't read their face. And then this was the idea for like an enemy, where it's like a bird creature that's like preying, but they're covered in fabric, which is what gives it like the vibe of like feathers. You know, I want it to layer like feathers, but also I want it to give the whole like it's hiding something, like it's hiding itself. And then it's got like a crying mask, because I want it to look like, you know, it's like praying for forgiveness kind of thing, to like trying to be unassuming. And then maybe if the player character gets too close, it attacks, or if it sees you, it starts chasing you, you know. I just really like the silhouette shape of it. And then this one was like, I don't actually like how this one ended up, but that would be, I just need to figure out the idea more of like a 3-headed statue thing. I guess if it's like this, it would actually be 4 heads, but it's then got like tentacle biomass kind of stuff coming out of it. The same way I was trying to describe the other one, I like the imagery of flesh and statue. I think that's cool. And then over here, because I'd been sharing these things with my patrons over on Discord, the idea was suggested of like a gondola Charon kind of deal. So I thought that would be really cool if that's like how you get to what would be the hub for the player. And like if the hub, like the safe zone, is like in a flooded building, and all of the like NPCs you talk to, and you know, if you've played a game, you know what I'm trying to say, all of that would be like in the top dome part of the building, and you can see like the rest of the building below the water, but you can't get to it. Although that would be cool actually, if there was like a thing towards the end of the game where when you get into the end game, if somehow all of the water got drained, and I don't know, like the final boss or the area to the final boss was actually like in the bottom of the building the whole time. That would be kind of cool. And then this was my other idea of like a golden angel statue sentinel that silently follows the player. And maybe like when they get really close you could hear their footsteps or something, but for the most part I want them to be really freaky, that you didn't realise they were following you the whole time. Yeah, I had so much fun drawing these, and I really, really want a game like this. And I love doing character design so much. So this was so much fun to do, and honestly, it would be so cool to make a game like this. I had so much fun doing that. So here I was drawing a bit more of Ursula and Ike because I still wanted to draw them because they're a lot of fun. But then I was like wanting to, I think I was having like a brain fart moment. I didn't know what to draw. So I drew Kara because she is usually my go-to for that. But I don't like how she turned out. She looks really, really weird. She's holding King, who is another character from my world. And then I drew Bob from Animal Crossing because he's so fun. And I think that was around the time that I got him on my island. And this page is when I was trying to plan a Christmas card for my mum because I wanted to make one for her. Yeah. So these were just ideas that I was coming up with. And I think I ended up going with this one. And this was just like testing out colours for it and planning it all out for her. I just wanted it to be a cute little cat. I was still playing like Witcher, and Vernon Roach is one of my favourite characters from the Witcher games because he's just like, he's so funny. I love him. He's so cool. He was amazing in Witcher 2, and I'm so glad that he had a small part in Witcher 3 as well because he's so cool. I wanted to paint him, so this is using gouache with like pencil lining. Yeah, very simple. I really enjoyed doing it. Is the camera good? I think I should turn the light on. Hang on. I feel like that's better. On this side, I was drawing my girl Kara and my other OC Hans, who I like never really draw because I was really enjoying trying to colour similarly to like when I was doing the Gretel Lusky art kit. So I felt like doing that here. This was the first time I used alcohol markers in this sketchbook, and the bleed is like crazy. You can see it easier up here because she's a smaller picture. I was kind of mixed because it was really annoying that the ink would bleed outside of the lines that I was colouring, but I do also really like the smooth, soft vibe that it gave everything, so I was really mixed on that. But I do like how they turned out, except there is a teeny tiny mark on Hans's face from where some of this red bled through, because this paper is cheap, it is thin, and you can see things through it. But like I said, that just encouraged me to be more messy with everything and not need it all to look finished. Like, for example, this page is just a page of like doodles that, yeah, it's a mess. So this page obviously is Alfonso from Animal Crossing because I also got them on my island and I love Alfonso. They were one of my villagers that I had in my towns when I was younger playing like the DS Animal Crossing, so they were very nostalgic for me and I was very happy that I got them on my island. But this side is kind of random. So this is a Tommy from, or a drawing of Tommy from The Last of Us. because I very briefly went into a Last of Us mood, which then went into a cyberpunk mood because I think my brother was playing it. I was thinking of the horse skeleton murals that are in the Aldecaldo camp, which led me to drawing Saul. Wow, I'm all over the place. I did not think this was the next spread. Okay, so now I'm on The Fifth Element because I watched that film because I loved it when I was younger and I hadn't watched it in a very, very long time, and I felt like doing a spread. So these are acrylic markers and like fine liners, and then these are just like stickers from I think it's a ransom note sticker book that I got. Okay, and now more. It's all over the place. Okay, so this was when I finished my first playthrough of Elden Ring. So this was my character boy Trollton. I took like a year, maybe 2-year break, I think before the end of the game. So then I came back and I finished it here and I was like, that was so good. I played the DLC, which I hated, and then I finally finished the main game with my boy Trollton. So I just wanted to draw something for him because then I was like, I'm moving on to a new character. So before I get caught up with that character, I just want to draw him one last time. And I really like how it turned out. That was using these pens again. And then this side, I was still hung up on the skeleton horses from the Aldecaldos. So I was like finding references of horses and drawing them and then doing the whole skeleton thing, which was a lot of fun. I actually had like planned on doing a proper painting that I wanted to put up on my wall, but I never got around to doing it. So that's what these two are, was like figuring out composition, like which one did I want. And then I played the demo for Love and Fool's Gold, which is it's like an eldritch cowboy horror dating simulator. It's not out yet, but I played the demo for it and I'm so excited for that game. The art style is amazing, the voice acting so good. So I just wanted to just like draw it a little bit in my book, and I did do that. Then for whatever reason, it was December, but I was in a mermaid mood, and it's like, why is the mermaid mood never in May? But I came up with these two characters. I think his name was Morris and her name is like Karina or something. So he's a sailor, she is a mermaid, and I was just doodling them, having fun with it. This is basically their character creation. And then on this side I just wanted to do like a little watercolor painting of them. And yeah, I think they're adorable. I think they're very cute. And if I do anything for Mermaid, it'll probably be of them. Yeah, so I was doing more sketching. Yeah, Morris and Karina. Oh, and the cat, Raphael. Okay, good. I'm so glad I wrote their names down. Just doing more sketching of them. This was planning for my calendar because I got sent a blank RTX calendar with like a Christmas gift box, and each month I draw something on it and I film it, and it is like a little series here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this was just like the planning for it. This was the initial planning, this was me trying to nail it down a bit more, and then yeah, I did the video. There's so much jumping all over the place. It's a good representation of my brain. Like, I can never focus on one thing for that long, and it's painful. This is when I watched the third Knives Out movie. It's like Dead Men or something. What is it? Dead Men Alive? What is it? Wake Up Dead Man or something? I was gonna do something for it. I sketched it out. I started painting him. Got bored of it. Immediately lost motivation, so I really phoned it in and couldn't be bothered to do that much detail. And then I was like, I'm not even gonna bother doing any of this stuff behind him because I don't want to do it. And instead I went on to drawing my new Elden Ring character, Merrin, and she is just like a strong, big sword wielding she's just a big, strong, sword-wielding girl, and I like her a lot. It's really fun to play with a big sword for a change. Then, of course, Blythe because I love him. Is he my favourite? Yeah, he might be my favourite character from Elden Ring. And I just wanted to draw him, so here I did him with some acrylic markers. He turned out kind of because I was having a rough time figuring out how to actually draw his face. So that's what this page is I was like practicing, like, because I felt like he kept coming out looking like a hog, like a pig, instead of a wolf, whereas I think these two look the most wolf-like. And then I just got a cute little doodle where I was trying to show off the size difference, but I put her too high up, so I was like, let's just say she stood on a box. Or did I just get her proportions wrong? I don't even remember, but I have a hard time doing proportions. So more sketching, doing another acrylic marker thing with her. Don't like how it turned out. I found that I couldn't draw her in a way that I was liking, but I then did some planning. This is her planning for this page. And at the same time I also planned something because I wanted to do something for Blythe. So I was like, she's the sun, he's the moon. I did this and I kind of like it, but I'm also now looking at it and thinking there's not that much going on. There's not that much contrast, perhaps. Then I think Elden Ring had put me in a night mood, which then put me onto Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2 specifically. So I drew my boy Ada because he's like one of my favourites from that game. My other favourite is Dry Devil. He's just so cool. Scrunkly old man. I love him. So I did some like pencil sketches here. And then on this side is my planning for my Meaden painting video where I drew these two knights. It's a guy and a girl, and then I drew them, they're both knights. So these are like references, using like pose references from, I think I just typed in romance novels. And I think that's what I got a bunch of them from, because I wanted to do it like that, because I was also reading the Saint of Steel books. And I feel like the cover, at least for the first one, is supposed to be kind of reminiscent of that style. So that's what I was going for here, and just doing some rough sketches. And I really enjoyed sketching these. These were a lot of fun. These were then like a more reference thing for me, trying to see what they'd actually look like, what their armor would look like, and them in it. And then with some flowers as well, because I did that in the final piece. So she is Eliza and he is Russell. So I have a video on that if you want to check that out. And then here was just more like doodling of them. This is when I bought some stickers from my girl F.A. She is an amazing artist. I'll have her, well, her links are here, but I'll have her linked in the description and stuff. She has some amazing stickers. I've got like this one here on the cover, which is so cute. Oh, you can't see it. It's adorable. And then I've got some more that I'm like so excited to use on future sketchbooks. So I just felt like sticking her thank you card in here because I was feeling in the like scrapbooky mood. And then underneath it is, well, it's got a nice thank you note on the other side. And then I drew some worms because we were talking about worms because she had some worm stickers. We were saying about like eat your worms. So I did a bowl of suspicious noodles and then a worm, secret worm party. So then because I was still drawing Eliza and Russell, she's just like holding a worm being like, oh, what a cute worm. And then he's like, ew. And then I don't know, he's like, would you love me if I was a worm? Because like obviously. And then it's him as a worm saying, Eliza, help. I don't really know what was going on. But yeah, so these are just more sketches. We've got Dry Devil, and then we've got Stinky Little Devil Man, because I wanted to try out these like acrylic gel pen things from Grabby, and yeah, they're nice. There's just a very limited colour palette. So yeah, this was the planning that I did in the video for the two pieces that I actually ended up doing. And then I was feeling really rusty and not very confident with how I was drawing hands, so I decided to do just a page of hands. I sketched them out with a Tombow marker, and then I went in with a red fine liner afterwards, and I think I like how they all turned out. They all turned out kind of nice, and it did for a while help me with my hands, and I think I'm okay, but I still don't feel that confident with them, so I might need to do more practicing. Very random. Housen from Baldur's Gate 3, because I think an artist I follow had been posting some art of him, and I love him, so. And then on this side, Dragon Age, because I don't know where my brain was going, but I decided to play Dragon Age Origins again, so I drew Alistair and my character, because Alistair is my favourite. And yeah, I was planning on doing loads more for it, but I just stopped, and I started playing Fields of Mystria and then Minecraft, and it's like, pick one thing, please. It's like, I was all over the place, and it's only going to keep getting worse. So this is a character from Fields of Mystria. I love her, and I can't decide if I'm going to romance her or the cowboy looking dude. And then this is my chicken character from Minecraft that I just felt like drawing because I was having a lot of fun playing Minecraft. This was my planning for February's calendar page. I think because I'd drawn a pigeon, I was like, I'll draw a pigeon for it. And then I ended up doing a bleeding heart dove. And then this was Remick from Sinners, because I was planning on watching that film again, but I didn't. And I don't know why. I was like, every time I planned to sit down and watch it, I think I'd then get like intimidated to watch it again. But I did draw Remick because I love Jack O'Connell, but I don't really like how it turned out. But this is using acrylic markers and coloured pencil. And then we're on to Bellamy. He is my boy from my 100k Draw This in Your Style. When I started drawing this, I was just like, I feel like drawing a evil little tricksy magician guy, and I was like, let's give him a dog's head because they're really fun to draw. So that's what I ended up doing, and this page, this spread, is just like me slowly like building up his character design and just like ideas that I want him to do. And he was a lot of fun to draw. I just liked drawing him with these like evil smiles, and like he has magic as well. And then it was like, I think it was while I was like doing these ones, I was like, wait, this could be really fun for my Draw This in Your Style. So he did end up becoming my Draw This in Your Style, and I love him. I think he's really fun to draw. And it's while I was doing these that I was like, oh, a little mouse character could be fun. So then I had him being cruel to the mouse because that's just the kind of guy he is. And then this page is from a video. This drawing was not to do with the video. This was just there during the video. But this is when I was using the Ohuhu refillable acrylic markers, and I made like sculptures. So I made a sculpture of this, and I made a sculpture of this little mouse. His name is Duke. He is adorable, so, you know. Okay, so this page is very clearly, this is Tommy Miller from The Last of Us. I just really, you know, I like him. But this page is my cat Solo. He unfortunately died, so I felt like doing a page for him. I wanted to like immortalize him in a sense. That's what this page is. Because I did that page with alcohol markers, I covered it up with paper. So because I was like kind of in a The Last of Us mood, I went back and redrew one of my characters that I made that's kind of to do with The Last of Us. This is him. So these are just like some sketches of him because I haven't drawn him for a long time. Last time I drew him was at the beginning of my previous sketchbook. And then this side, I just felt like doing a coloured version of him because I did a gouache painting of him in my previous sketchbook, and I just wanted to do a coloured version of him again. But this is with alcohol markers, so again, this side of the page needed covering because it all bled through like crazy. So this is the page that I did for my Scrawler Box video. It's kind of coming out, but I wanted to include it in my sketchbook, and I thought it would be perfect to cover up the bleed through from Floyd. And then because I was on my cowboy mood, I was playing Red Dead 2 again. So I had to draw my husband, Javier, because I just love him so much. And I really like how these turned out. I just like them. I covered up a mistake with Hello Kitty. And then I kind of went a bit crazy with the background. But I don't know. I kind of like it as well. I like the contrast and it makes the drawings stand out more. And so, yeah, because I was getting close to the end of my sketchbook, my brain started doing that thing where I was like, fill more pages. So I did this double page spread of Bellamy. I got kind of carried away with it. It wasn't going to be like an entire coloured piece, but I just started to really enjoy it, and it then helped me nail down some of the colours for my Draw This in Your Style piece, and I just really like it. I really like the swirly shapes and then how the colour changes, and this is using acrylic markers. Yeah, I like it. I don't really know what to say about it. Then I bought something from Milky Tomato, who has some like really gorgeous stickers and artwork and just stuff in general. So I felt like including their thank you card, same as I did with FA, and underneath it is just a secret little Bellamy. I just thought it'd be really cute if it was just like, he's like, ta-da, there's something under here. And I was like, it's just me. And then on this side, so I watched A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Absolutely loved it. Such a good show. I was so obsessed with it, but I had zero intention of doing any fan art for it. Like, I told multiple people that I wasn't going to, and then like a week after I finished it, I suddenly couldn't stop thinking about it. Specifically Darren, I think is how you say his name. So I was like, damn it, I'm gonna have to draw him. So I did. I sketched him out with some ballpoint pens, and then this is like just acrylic markers. And I felt really bad because I was then like, I lied, I drew some stuff, and I ended up getting carried away, naturally. I'm not a big fan of how these turned out, but they're alright. But then I got carried away with my favourite character from that show, Lionel Baratheon. I loved him so much. He was so good. Oh my god, he was the best part. I mean, there were so many amazing parts of that show actually, so I actually feel like I can't say that because there was so much about that show I loved. Like, I feel like I haven't watched a show that has been that good in ages, especially a Game of Thrones one. But I just did some sketches of him, so these ones are done with Tombow markers as like the rough sketching, and then I finished it off with a ballpoint pen. This is similar to how I did the Tommy and Joel pictures in my previous sketchbook. And then I wanted to fill this page with an acrylic marker portrait of him because I just really wanted to do one for him because I love him. He's so good. And then I also did this, which I really don't like. It doesn't look like him. And I did this one with alcohol markers and coloured pencil, and he just looks really sick and pale and washed out, and I just don't like it. And the only reason I did it is because I wanted to put his quote. And then I only had a few pages left of this sketchbook, and I was like, what do? I want to do stuff for it. So I did some mouldy fruit, because that's what you do apparently. And I just had so much fun with it. I just wanted it to be like pretty mold. These are available as stickers on my Redbubble if you are interested. If you feel like having that moldy fruit vibe, I got you covered. Yeah, so I was drawing moldy fruit, which then led me to doing moldy tomatoes for my March page in For my March page in the calendar. My brain. But as you can see, I got carried away with The Night of the Seven Kingdoms again. A lot of people after my wait, where'd it go? Where is it? Hang on. After this, I think a lot of people were like, are you gonna do more characters? Please do this character, you know. So I drew Maker and coloured him in, and I filmed it and I made it a reel, and that's all I was gonna do. I had no intention of doing anyone else. But then I kept going. I did Baylor, I did Dunk and Egg, and I filmed them all, and they're all on my YouTube and on my Instagram. They're also available up on Redbubble because a lot of people were asking for stickers of them. So if you want one, they're up there. So these are all done with acrylic markers. I even made a little video talking about how I made them, because again, a lot of people were asking for that. It's not the best video, but I'm hoping it can help a little bit. But then I decided to do another one of those Pokemon videos that I've done before, because Pokopia came out. I was watching someone play it and it really put me in a Pokemon mood. So I was like, this is perfect. I need to take a hold of this right now and finish that video I started last year. And I did. So I'm very happy that I did that. I don't have to worry about all that unused footage now. Because I did all the digital ones last year. And so I just finished by doing some of these traditional ones. Videos will be linked in the description. And then this is like the final double page. This was my swatch sheet. So I did Dayron, because I was gonna stop here. This was the end, but people wanted more. So I kept going. I did Dayron, then Dayron was gonna be the end, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting burnt out. But then I ended up doing Valar, and then of course Arian. So I did a bunch. I did way more than I was gonna. But yeah, I had so much fun with them. I'm really glad I did them, because I really like how they ended up. I feel like I was getting better by the end of it with doing portraits. And I thought it'd be cute. I gave them all Sanrio stickers, except for Egg. He gets an egg. What else can I give him? He gets an egg. And I just thought it was cute, like a cute contrast. What was that? Okay. Like a cute contrast with the portraits, and I like it. And then here at the end we've got like a ton of stickers. Ugh. So these two are from an artist called Filias, and this is a stamp from Caroline Art. She makes really cute stamps, so I like to include them as well. This is a Hello My Name Is thing that I did ages ago. I planned it back at the beginning, but I planned it here. This isn't the final one I was going to do. I just had a spare sticker, so I was like, oh, I'll test it out. And I hate it. So it went in the back of the sketchbook. And then there's just a bunch of other stickers. Sobble from Pokemon, the Ohuhu mascot, a shark, some stickers from some gin bottles. This is the Scrawler Box sticker. And then this is an envelope, because this book doesn't have a folder at the back like my other sketchbooks do. So I kind of like added one, and I just put some like bits and bobs in here. So this is a sticky note of Remick that I didn't like, so it went back in the back of the book. A Merry Christmas thing from RTX. This was, I got sent it with their gift box, which was really cute. And then one from, oh my god, wait. Bob! I didn't know you were back there. I don't know what I'm going to do with him now. This is an alcohol marker Bob. He looks so funny. Okay, I need to find something to do with him. But this was a thank you card from Ohuhu as well. And this was with a gift box too. So yeah, not much in the back of the book, but still worth it. So yeah, that was that sketchbook. That was sketchbook 18. I finished that one quicker than I expected. I am now on my next sketchbook. This one, sketchbook 19. This is a Talon's art creation sketchbook. It's smaller, just by a little bit, but it's smaller, which I am noticing. I feel like all my drawings are coming out really small, but I'm having so much fun with it because again, it's a cheap book. I think these are like £5 or £6. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. And the paper isn't amazing quality, but it's actually, I think it's better than this, but it feels thinner, so I don't know. It holds alcohol markers a lot better than this paper. So yeah, so I'll also link the video to me starting this sketchbook in the description. Yeah, so Bob. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. What else to say? I don't know. This book is done. I'm really happy with it. I want to do another messy book like it at some point, but I didn't want to do it now. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and I want to say a massive thank you to my patrons as always. Disbeer, Grimclow, The Waffle of Life, Non-Toxic, Saint Nick's, LP, Kira May, Kay, Joanna, Mila, Pretty Rotten, Joanna Snake Moon, Humble Frogs, Local Fishkeeper, Mould Ghoul, Farrar Ware, Sun Arts, Molly Marula, Scout Radley, Sammy Bear 127, Kenzania, Arrow, Charlie, Malorus, Cindy King, Art by Lavender, Angela's Weird Tales, Rainbow Tea, Breaded Nuggets, Learns, Human Eye, The Moth Bug, Knox, Catbird House, The Tormented Shadow, Sweet and Hopeless, Pocket, Jordan's Tiny Planet, The Coffee Rain, Black Jackal Art, Leela Loves You, A. Wendu, Olivia Gadbor, Cheris Needham, Binixery, Cyrus Orion, Mottled Pixel, Malbon Designs, Gamut Girl, Solar Tortoise, Auden, Red S. Lily, Haley, Sienna G, Lady Ratbird, Fia, Greenfinch G Illustration, Lynn, Cody, Kaleidoscope Arm, Cloud, Clearfix, Redders, Ziutka, Beetle Ghost, Melisandre Sinclair, Bria Washington, Hurrier, June, Dakota Garcia, Manon, Lily Likes Art, Rona, Levi, Tink, Daniel McGuinness, Janine, Dios Live, Ella Chenshuo, K2, Flossie, Stegosaurus, Yoinks, Stoyan, Spooky Chloe, Starry Fern, Kiki, Nuclear Nail Bomb, P. Right Stuff, Raig Norway, JGP, Spaceman Theo, Slurp, Nosebridge, Cherry, In the Clouds, Nowil, Saturn, Saturn's War.jpg, Bunny B, Samara, One Joltaire, Lee H, Jen B. Burning, Fenray, Mon, I Like Tea and Pokemon, Kino K, Bland Polecat, Destiny, Kaya D, Jamie, Riggs M23, Lolly, Mel Vogel, Lily Lalkels, Lex, Vienne, Dean Marie, Jadan, Frillian, Valania Madeira, Arkangle, Cindy Flint, Tile Arts, Idea Fox, Blackout 1706, Shin, Natasha Trench, Sarah Ellis, Nylod Nam, Ouija Art Studio Jenny, Stamax, and Bwakao Campbell. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I should hopefully have another video for you guys soon, so I will see you then.